All right, let's now go across to Mr. Sanjeev Sanyal for more on this. Sanjeev Sanyal, many thanks for joining us on the show. First of all, let me begin by asking you, what do you make of the allegation that there was a huge amount of money coming out from USAID? You've called it the biggest scam in human history. There are those, of course, who argue that USAID also funds several programs related to health, related to education, related to disaster management. Can we say that all of these programs also are illegitimate?
Well, maybe all of it is not, and I'm sure they did quite a lot of good things as well. But let me say that it was a cover for doing many other things that were clearly illegitimate. I mean, the latest finding, for example, that has come out as an unintended consequence of US Doge efforts is that they were spending $21 million to improve voter participation in India. Why did they need to do that? Or improve fiscal federalism in Nepal? I mean, clearly things that have nothing to do with US interests or US taxpayers. Clearly there are some things that we need to ask questions about, and even many of the things that may seem legitimate, we need to begin to questioning, including, for example, their interest in our health data systems.
And you've also tweeted, Mr. Sanyal, saying you would love to find out who spent that $21 million for enhancing voter turnout in India. The big question is, do we have any evidence before us that that money was actually misused or misspent in any manner?
One part of it is just asking for transparency. But a lot of the things I have been writing for years suggesting that many of these agencies do things that are clearly not kosher. So let me give you some examples and then you'll understand. So you may have noticed, for example, that in the last few years, there's been a sudden spike in large number of global indices of all kinds. Have you noticed this? Global Democracy Index, Global Media Freedom Index, Global Happiness Index, Global something other index. And in all of them, India does sort of oddly badly. I mean, we are not even in the top 100 democracies in the world. Evidently, our media is not even as free as that in Afghanistan. All kinds of things have come up. Now, obviously, this is agenda-driven. Now, who funds all of these indices and where do they come from and why should we care? So I did some research into it, and it was quite clear that just a handful of donor agencies fund all these indices. USAID is one of them, but there are others. For example, Soros's Open Society, but many others are there also. Not many others, it's the same small group, but they are funding a whole bunch of these. I mean, Freedom House, all these guys, varieties of Democracy Institute in Sweden, RFP, the Reporters Sans Frontier, all of these guys are funded by the same 3-4 agencies, which are all linked clearly. And all of them seem to drive an agenda. Now, what is that agenda? The point is, they are running global narratives in a particular way. It has real-life implications because these feed into investment decisions, they feed into sovereign ratings, they feed into the way AI is being trained, and in this way, they are basically creating a global narrative of a particular kind. Now, if a global aid agency with clear links to intelligence agencies and so on is going around funding and seeding this kind of global narrative building, then surely we in India have a right to question this. And this is the stuff that is happening outside India. There is a lot of interesting things they do inside India also which can be questioned.
Also, Mr. Sanyal, Mr. S.Y. Qureshi has clarified that, there was no money that was spent as far as, enhancing voter education here in India. There was a memorandum of understanding, but that's about it, is the statement coming in from Mr. S.Y. Qureshi. Do you feel that there's scope for some kind of a clarification or correction, or, there could have been possibly a misinterpretation of what has been stated?
Well, somebody should look into this. I mean, what did the 21 million go to? Somebody should find out and tell us who got it, what did they do? I mean, I can't comment without knowing. I'm just telling you that prima facie, we should be suspicious. Because while I am not working on voter turnout, I do work in other areas where I have found, in whether it's in these global indices or in medical data and some other things also, where clearly USAID has played a very nefarious role. And I've written about it. It's not some new secret that has pumped up. And a result of this is, for example, that now NHFS for the first time that is now being conducted is being done purely by the Ministry of Health. The USAID guys have been pushed out.
Thanks so much for joining us, Mr. Sanjeev Sanyal. Let's quickly take this